The Shavuot reading of the book of Ruth. Wariyahi b'mei shofat sharfatayim. Wariyahi ra'ab be'eretz wariyolek ish mebay lechem. Yehuda l'kor varasade Moab. Hu var ishto varashane banal. Varasham cha'ish Elimelech. Washam ishto Naomi. Washam shane banal Machalon Warkilion Ephratayim Mebay Lechem. Yehuda Variaba Ur Sade Moab Wayekyo Shom. Wariamet Elimelech Ish Naomi. Waratishayer He Warashane Banea. Wariasa Ulachem Nash Shim Moabayot Sham Ha'achat Arfa. Warasham Charashanit Ruth. Wariyashabu Sham Kar Arasa Shanim. Wariyamatur Gam Menachem Machelon. Warakilian. Waratisha Echa Ish Marashene Yaladea U Maisha. Wariyakam Hi Warakilte Ha Waratashab Marasade Moab. Ki Shamara Barasade Moab. Ki Pachat Yahweh Ad Imo Watet Lachem Lachem. Wariyasar Min Haramakum Edishir Hariyatara Shamar Warashater Kaliateha Amar Varatela Kanara Baderek Lashu El Eretz Yahuda Wara Toramar Naomi Lashate Kalatia Larakanara Sharabana Isha Labayad Ima Yarasad Yahweh Amechem Chesed Karashar Arasatam Im Haramadim Waramati Wariyatan Yahweh Lakim Wuramar Soen Manuchar Isha Bayad Isha Waratasak Lachen Waratara Sana Kolar Waratara Barakena Watara Merana La Kiratak Nashub Laramak Baratura Mara Naomi Shurabanara Banati Lamaratala Kanarami Chavot Li Banim Baramarai Warhar Yulakim Laranoshim Sharabanu Banatai Lakenki Zarakanati Marhariot La Ishki Amarati Yeshli Takwa Gam Hariyati Khalayla La Ishwargam Yaladati Bani Khalakhin Tersaberuna Aresher Yaragadalu Khalakhin Ntara Genan Larabelati Hariyot La Ish El Banatike Marli Meod Markim Kiyarasa Ab Biyad Yahweh. Waratishena Kolan, Waratabarakena Od, Waratashak Arfa, Lachamota, Warut Dabakaba, Waratura Marhine, Sharabar Yabamatek, El Ama, Waram Alechecha, Shubi, Aharai, Yabaramatek, Waratura Marut, Aleta Parakane, Bi. Larazabala Shu, Meracharayik, Ki El Sheratilaki, Alek Wurbara Sheratilani, Alin, Aramak, Arami, Warelochayik, Elochai. Baresheretaramutir Amud, Wadasham, Arakaber, Kore Yarase Yahweh, Warakore Yarasevki, Hamoria Farai, Banai Wurabanayik, Wadatare. Ki Maratara Masat, Yi Lelakat, Atar Varatachadal, Larabar Khalea. Wadatala Kanara Shatechem, Arabohanar Bayat Lechem. Wayahi Karabaranar Bayat Lechem. Waratachim, Kul Chair Elachim, Waratora Marana, Arazor at Naomi. Waratora Mala Elachim. Elli tikrara nari Naomi, Karain li Mara, Ki Hamar, Sadai li Me'od, Ani mala ad halakti wararakam. Harisharabani Yahweh. Lama tikreana li Naomi. Wa Yahweh eanarabi warasade khara'a ne. Warashab Naomi Warut Haramoabia Kalatara Ama Hara Sharaba Marasade Moab Wadhamad Bar Urbai Lekam Bar Tachilat Kasir Sha'arayim. Chapter 1 in English. And it happened in the days that the judges judged. There was a famine in the land, and a man from Bethlehem, Yehudah, went to live in the fields of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Achilion, Ephrathites from Bethlehem, Yehudah. And they came into the fields of Moab and remained there. And Naomi's husband Elimelech died, and she was left and her 2 sons. And they took wives to themselves, women of Moab. The name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the second Ruth. And they lived there about 10 years. Then also died both of them, Mahlon and Achilion. And the woman was bereaved of her 2 children and of her husband. And she rose up, she and her daughters-in-law, and turned back from the fields of Moab. For she had heard in the fields of Moab that Yahweh had visited his people to give them food to them. And she went out from the place where she had been, and her 2 daughters-in-law with her. And they went in the way to return to the land of Yehudah. And Naomi said to her daughters-in-law, "Go, each return to the house of her mother. May Yahweh deal kindly with you, as you have done with the dead and with me. May Yahweh grant you that you find rest, each in the house of her husband." And she kissed them, and they lifted up their voice and wept. And they said to her, "Surely we will go back with you to your people." And Naomi said, "Turn back, my daughters. Why should you go with me? Are there yet sons to me in my belly that they should be husbands for you? Turn back, my daughters. Go, for I am too old to belong to a husband. Though I should say there is hope for me, and I should be tonight with a husband, and also I should bear sons. Will you wait for them, that they might grow up? Will you shut yourselves up for them, not to belong to a husband? No, my daughters, for it is much more bitter for me than for you, for the hand of Yahweh has gone out against me." And they lifted up their voice and wept again. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. And she said, "See, your sister-in-law has turned back to her people and to her Elohim. You turn back after your sister-in-law." But Ruth said, "Do not beg me to leave you, to turn back from following you. For where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people shall be my people, and your Elohim, my Elohim. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May Yahweh do to me, and more so, if anything but death part you and me." And she saw that she had made herself strong to go with her, and she ceased to speak to her. And they went both of them until they came into Bethlehem. And it happened as they came into Bethlehem, all the city was moved at them. And they said, "Is this not Naomi?" And she said to them, "Do not call me Naomi, call me Mara, for El Shaddai have dealt bitterly with me. I went out full, and Yahweh has brought me back empty. Why do I call me caught Naomi, since Yahweh has set his eye against me, and El Shaddai has done evil to me? And Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law with her, who returned from the fields of Moab, and they came to Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. Chapter 2 in Hebrew. Wula Naomi Maria Dar Lar Ish Gabor Chayira Mishpach Chat Elimelech Wareshamo Boaz Waratorama Ruth Moabia Naomi Alakana Karasa De War Alakatan Barasharabalim Akhir Arishir Amasa Khain Baranal Warataramala Laki Betty Waratelek Waratarabo Watelakat Barasade Akhre Karakos Sarayim Waryakara Marakare Khalakat Kharasal De Larboaz Arishara Mishpachat Elimelech Waryachine Boaz Ba Mabayet Lechem Waryoma Korasarayim Yahweh Amechem Waryoma Rulo Yabarakaka Yahweh Waryoma Boaz Lanaaral Khanasal Alakho Sarayim Larki Khanaara Kharzoet Waryain Khanayir Khanasab Alakhara Sarayim Waryoma Naera Moabia Hi Kharashaba Naomi Merosade Moab Waratoma Alakata Nar Bar Asfati Bar Amarayim Akhraim Kharakosarayim Waratabo Warataramot Mar Aris Kharaboker Varatarze Sabata Labayat Ma'at Baryoma Boaz El Khurur Khalur Sharmati Betty El Telaki Lalakata Barasade Akhir Waragam La Et Tarapurai Marazel Warakua Tebakai Im Naerati Anaye Barasade Arashirakasahun Warkhalakatar At Yachin Khalu Siwati Arkhane Araim Labalti Neragarek Warasamar Wakhalakat El Kharakalim Warashatit Marashara Yarasha Bun Khana Heraim Waratapel Arapaner Waratishti Khur Arza Waraturama Khalal Mardu Marasa Ti Khena Baranayaka Larkharakarin Baranoki Nekriya Waryoma Boaz Waryoma La Khuragat Kharagat Likol Et Shara Alsat Ad Kharamotak Akhrayamut Ishak Warata Arzabani Arabayik Warat Amak Warkharetz Muladatek Wartalaki Am Asher Lo Yerati Tarmur Shalasha Waryishlam Yahweh Parachalek Warataki Marshkaratek Shalamar Ma'at Yahweh Elocha Yisrael Risharaba Larcharasut Tichat Kanafal Waritorama Ramazar Chena Baranayaka Adoniki Nacharamatini Warakida Baratar Elab Sarafachateka Waranoki Lord Aye Karachat Sharafachateka Waratoma Lara Boaz Led Khar Elker Garasi Khalum Pararkataramin Halakum Waratarabalat Paratek Barhamats Varatashar Milsar Harakasarim Wariakhira Sarabala Koli Waratarakal Waratishbar Wariatater Wariatakam Lalakatar Wariasal Boaz Adna Ara Laramor Gam Bain Karamaraim Telekat tarakala mahu. Warigim shele tarishalula min kharisarabati. War arizbata walarakata. Walora teraka rurba. War telakers barasati adkhairem. War terkharaben. At etshelakatar baryaki. Kara efara soharaim. War tarsar varataboa. Ayir varatirar kharamota. At etshelakatar varatose. War tetana at ishan. Kotarara misbala. Waratora maloha mota efa larakatad khaliyum. Waranar arasati yaki mi ki rak baruk. Waratar galar kharamotar at adishar arasatar imam. Waratora marasham hai ishar arasati imor khaliyum Boaz. Waratoma Naomi larakaratea. Baruch la Yahweh, Eshachur Adsav, Chasdo, Adchachayom, Wa Adharamatim, Baratona Mala, La Naomi, Krob la Nuchaish, Maragalalu, Hu, Waratara Ruth Harmoabia, Gam Kia Marhalaim, Hana Erahim, Rishali, Tirabakim, El-Im, Keloat Kalakharakasir Edishali Warataramara Naomi Al-Khurut Kalyotara Tob Batiki Terasai Imna Arota Waryo Paraga Urba Barasade Akhir Waratirabak Bana Arut Boaz Lalakat Al-Kalhut Karasir Kharasarayim Warakasir Khitim Watashab Chachamota. Chapter 2 in English. And Naomi had a kinsman of her husband, a mighty man of the family of Elimelech, and his name was Boaz. And Ruth of Moab said to Naomi, "Let me go now to the field and glean among the ears of grain after him in whose sight I shall find favor." And she said to her, "Go, my daughter." And she went and she came and gleaned in the field after the reapers. And her chance happened to be on the portion of the field belonging to Boaz, who was of Elimelech's family. And behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said to the reapers, "Yahweh Hamekum, Yah be with you." And they replied, "Yibaraka Yah, Yahweh bless you." And Boaz said to his young man, who had been set over the reapers, "Whose is this young woman?" And the young man who had been set over the reapers answered and said, "She is a young woman of Moab, who came with Naomi from the fields of Moab." And she said, "Please let me glean, and I will gather among the sheaves after the reapers." And she came and has remained since morning, even unto now. She sat. And Boaz said to Ruth, "Do you not hear, my daughter? Do not go to glean another field, and also do not pass through this. And you shall stay close to my young women. Your eyes shall be on the field, which they shall reap, and you shall go after them. Have not I commanded the young men not to touch you? When you are thirsty, then you shall go to the vessels and shall drink from that which the young men drew." And she fell on her face and bowed to the earth and said to him, "Why have I found grace in your eyes, that you should notice me, and I, a foreigner?" And Boaz answered and said to her, "It has been fully revealed to me that you have done well with your mother-in-law after the death of your husband, and you left your father and your mother and the land of your birth, and came to a people which you had not known. Yahweh shall repay your work and your reward shall be complete from Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. And she said, let me find grace in your eyes, Adonai, because you have comforted me, because you have spoken to the heart of your handmaid, and I surely am not as one of your handmaids. And Boaz said to her, at mealtime come here, and you shall eat of the bread and dip your morsels in the vinegar. And she sat at the side of the reapers, and he reached out roasted grain to her, and she ate and was satisfied, and had some left over. And she rose up to glean, and Boaz commanded his young men, saying, she shall not glean between the sheaves, and you shall not cause her to be ashamed, and you shall also surely pull out for her the bundles, and shall leave, and she shall glean, and you shall not restrain her. And she gleaned in the field until the evening, and beat out that which she had gleaned, and it was about an ephah of barley. And she took it up and went to the city, and her mother-in-law saw that which she had gleaned, and she brought out and gave to her that which she had reserved after she was satisfied. And her mother-in-law said to her, where have you gleaned today, and where have you worked? May he be noticed who blessed you. And she said to her mother-in-law, with whom she had worked, and said, the name of the man who I've worked today is Boaz. And Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, blessed is he of Yahweh, who has not forsaken his kindness with the living and with the dead. And Naomi said to her, the man is near of kin to us. He is of our redeemers. And Ruth of Moab said, and he surely said to me, you shall stay close, near to the young men whom I have, until you have completed the whole harvest which I have. And Naomi said to her daughter-in-law Ruth, good, my daughter, that you go out with his young men, and that men may not attack you in another field. And she stayed close to the young women of Boaz to glean until the end of the barley harvest and of the wheat harvest, and she lived with her mother-in-law. Chapter 3 in Hebrew. Waratomar la Naomi karamatara bati khalu arabakashlak arishar yatablak waratar khalur Boaz min atanu arishar khariyati at ne'arotan hine hu zerar at garan kharisha arayim khalala wa radasat wara sakat wara shamat shamalachitek el hayek wariyarati kanal garan el tuadahi larishad el kaleto la okola shatut wahi barisharakabo wariya dar at haramakom esher yishkab sham wu ba'at wargeta maragalatal warasharakabati warhur yaraget lek at esher tarasu waratora machaleha kol esher tora mari hiyase waratarek haragaran waratara sedeka kol esher sutar haramota wariya okal Boaz wariya shat wariya tab labo wariya bolar shakab parakasar khar eramai waratar bor balad waratar gal ragalati waratar shkaba wariya khir bar kharasir khalala khalalar wariya kharat khaish wa yalafar barine isha sharakabat ma galatar wariyoma miatar vertora marano kiuru aramaka Wara farashara karapekar Yamarata karabidaka al-ata. Wariyome at la Yahweh bati. Hariyarabat harasadek ha-echro mi harashon. Larabelet lerkar echraim harabechurayim im darbarim asa. Waratarabati yeterai. Kul esher taramarayi araselaki yordar kul shayir arami kir asher khayir at warataraki amanam ki em gaol anuki waragam yesh gaol krob laramarani laramanal khalala warkharya baraboker im Ga'alek tov yarga'al wa'adlo yakhafes larga'alek wa ga'alatekar anoki chay yawad sharakabad kharaboker waratishkab machra galoto kharaboker waryakam baratarum yarakir ishad rechu varyoma al yoada kirbaha haishat واليوم حبي خرمتا فتخت أرشل خلق ورا خازبا ورا تا خازبا ورا مارشة شعرين ورا شات ألا ورا بو ألا كير ورا تربو اللي خرموتار ورا توما مائد بيتي ورا ترقاد لا أدكول إشر أرسالا خايش ولا ترى مرشش على شعرين هاللينا تانلي كي أعمال اللي تربو رقم الخرموتك ولا توما شبي بيتي على شرط رايين أريك يقول دار باركيلو شركات خريجكي كل الخدابر خيين. Chapter 3 in English. And her mother-in-law said to her, "My daughter, do I not seek rest for you? And now, is not Boaz of our kindred, with whose young women you have been? Behold, he is winnowing the threshing floor of barley tonight. And you shall bathe and anoint yourself, and put your garments on you, and go down to the threshing floor. Do not let yourself be known to the men, till he has finished eating and drinking. And it shall be when he lies down, you shall take note the place where he lies down, and shall go in and remove his cover of his feet and lie down. And he will tell you that which you are to do." And she said to him, "All that you say, I will do." And she went down to the threshing floor and did according to all that her mother-in-law commanded her. And Boaz ate and drank, and his heart felt good. And he went to lie down at the end of the heap. And she came secretly and uncovered his feet and lay down. And it happened in the middle of the night that the man trembled and turned himself, and behold, a woman was lying at his feet. And he said, "Who are you?" And she said, "I am your handmaid, Ruth, and you shall spread your skirt over your handmaid, for you are a kinsman redeemer." And he said, "Blessed be you of Yahweh, my daughter. You have dealt more kindly at the latter than at the beginning, not to go after the young men, either poor or rich. And now, my daughter, do not fear. All that you say I will do to you. For all the gate of my people know that you are an able woman. And now surely it is true that I am a kinsman redeemer. And there also is a redeemer nearer than I. Stay tonight, and it shall be morning. And if he will redeem you, well, he will redeem. And if he does not delight to redeem you, as Yahweh lives, then I will redeem you. Lie down until the morning, And she lay at his feet until the morning, and rose up before one could discern another. And he said, let it not be known that a woman has come to the grain floor. And he said, give me the covering which is on you, and hold on to it. And she kept hold on it. And he measured 6 measures of barley, and lay it on her. And she went to the city, and she came into her mother-in-law. And she said, who are you, my daughter? And she told her all that the man had done to her. And she said, he gave me these 6 measures of barley. For he said, you shall not go empty to your mother-in-law. And she said, sit, my daughter, until you shall know how the matter falls. For the man shall not rest till he has finished the matter today. Chapter 4 in Hebrew. Warabora salar kharishar variyasham. Warhiner goel khabe arishar dabara boaz. Wariyoma sura sharabara po alani alamani wariyasa wariyasham. Wariyakara sarara anoshi meriskane khayir wariyoma shubu po wariyashabu. Wariyoma largoel khalakat kharasade arishir la akhanu la alamelek ma kirach Naomi kharashabar ma shade moab. Warani amarti arkala arazane khalara morakana nagar khariyashabin wanagar zarakani yami im tarakaal wa'el war'im lor yargaal harakada li warada ki en u lateka largoel war anoki akhraka war yoma anoki argaal war yoma boaz bayum ka nutakar kharasade mayad Naomi urma al-Ruth ha-Moabiyah el-shir kharmarakanata larkharkayim sham khamad ala-nakhalato war yoma khagoelo okela ragaol limpin yishakher at nakhalati gaal lakar ata at gaalti ki lo wakal lana goel warzwara pani ba Israel el khargalal wa el khalatara mora larkayin kul daber shalaf ishna alur banatan la rehu warzoat khalatar mora ba Israel واليوم خرجوا إلى بوعز كان لك وريشلو نقلوا واليوم بوعز لهر الزركانين وركل خيم إديم أدام خيوركي كانتي أركل أشير لألملك وأركل أشير كاليوم وما خلون مريان نيومي ورقم أبروك خرمايا بيا الشد ما خلون كناتي لي لإيشا لحكيم خمات إلى نخلاتو واللور كرات شام خمات مايم وخايم ور الشاير مركمو إغرايم أتام خيوم وريوم كل خيم الشر برشاير ورخر الزاركاني أدام تان ياوي أرخر إشار هبار أربعتك كرخيل ولا كاليا أرشار بانور شتيخ أد بيت إسرائيل ورسي خير بأفرتا وركراشام بيت لخم وريخي باريا دكر كرباري فرس أرشار يلادار تيما لا يهودا من خرزيرا الزريتان ياوي لك مارخنا أرا خرزوات وريكات بوات أد روت ورتاقيلو لا إيشا وريابوها لف وريتان ياوي لا خرايون ورتولك بين ورتومرانا خنشيم النيومي باروك ياوي السلوخ Harisharabayit lek. Gaul Haryom Wayikra Shamo Be Israel. War Harya lek Laramashi Benabish. Wuler Kalkel at Shayarabateki Karatak. Arisher Arharabatek Yeladato. Arisher Hiro Toba lek Mara Sharaba Ar Banim. Waratekat Naomi at Haryelet Varatisteu. Barhekar Varatagilo. Lar Amena. Watikrana Lo Hara Iskanut. Shamla Amor Yolada Be La Naomi Vatikrao. Na Shamo Obed. Hu Abi Yashai. Abi Dawid. Wa'ale Toladot Feres. Feres Tolet Chazron. Chazron Cholit at Ram. Waram Cholit at Aminadab. Waraminadab Cholit at Nechshan. Wanachshan Cholit at Salma. Salmon Cholit at Boaz. Boaz Cholit at Obed. Obed Cholit at Yeshai. Yeshai Cholit at Dawid. Chapter 4 in English. And Boaz went up to the gate and sat there. And behold, the near kinsman of whom Boaz had spoken was passing by. And he said, Such a one, turn aside, sit down again. And he turned aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, Sit down here. And they sat down. And he said to the near kinsman, Naomi, who has returned from the fields of Moab, will sell a portion of the field which belonged to our brother, to Elimelech. And I said I would uncover your ears, saying, Buy it before those sitting and before the elders of my people. If you will redeem. But if you will not redeem, tell me so that I may know. For there is no one beside you to redeem, and I after you. And he said, I will redeem it. And Boaz said, In the day you buy the field from Naomi's hand, then you have brought from Ruth the Moabite, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead over his inheritance. And the near kinsman said, I am not able to redeem for myself, that I not mar my own inheritance. You redeem for yourself my right of redemption, for I am not able to redeem. And this formerly was done in Israel for redemption, and for changing, to confirm everything. A man would draw off his sandal and give to his neighbor. And this was the attestation in Israel. And the near kinsman said to Boaz, Buy for yourself, and drew off his sandal. And Boaz said to the elders and to all the people, You are witnesses today that I have bought all that belonged to Elimelech, and all that was to Chilion and Mahlon from the hand of Naomi. And also Ruth of Moab, the wife of Mahlon, I have brought for myself for a wife, to raise up the name of the dead over his inheritance. And the name of the dead shall not be cut off from among his brothers and from the gate of his place. You are witnesses today. And all the people who were in the gate and the elders said, We are witnesses. May Yahweh make the woman who is coming into your house as Rachel and as Leah, both of whom built the house of Israel. And may you do worthily in Ephratah, and proclaim the name in Bethlehem. And let your house be as the house of Pharez, whom Tamar bore to Yehudah, of the seed which Yahweh shall give to you of this young woman. And Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. And he went into her, and Yahweh gave her conception and she bore a son. And the women said to Naomi, Blessed be Yahweh, who has not left you this day without a redeemer, and may his name be called in Israel, and may he be to you a restorer of life and a nourisher of your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you, has borne him who is better to you than 7 sons. And Naomi took the child and laid him in her bosom and became nurse to him. And the neighboring women gave him a name, saying, This is a son born to Naomi. And they called his name Obed. He is the father of Yeshai, the father of Dawid. And these are the generations of Pharez. Pharez fathered Hezron. Hezron fathered Ram. And Ram fathered Aminadab. And Aminadab fathered Nahshon. And Nahshon fathered Salmon. And Salmon fathered Boaz. And Boaz fathered Obed. And Obed fathered Yeshai. And Yeshai fathered Dawid. Selah. This completes the Shavuot reading of the book of Ruth. Yebaraka Yahweh, Wad Yishmaraka. Ya'el Yahweh, Panawalaka. Wihunaka. Yasa Yahweh, Panawalaka. Wayasim, Lekam Shalom. May Yahweh bless you and keep you, and may Yahweh's face shine upon you and be gracious to you, and may the face of Yahweh rise upon you and give you shalom. And you shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Shavuot Samecha, Yahweh bless you.